Welcome you all. Today we are going to discuss about ethical aspects of human resource management. And in this concept, we are going to discuss the contents, introduction of ethics, types of ethics, factor influences ethical behavior at work, ethical issues in HR, approaches, and last HR policies which are following in the organization. Now, coming to introduction, ethics. Ethics is a rational reflection on what is right, what is wrong. What is right, what is wrong, what is just and what is unjust. In the same way, what is good and what is bad in terms of human behavior. And before going to discuss elaborately this meaning of ethics, let us know where this word is derived from. This word is derived from the Latin word ethos, which means conduct. A proper conduct should be there for employees in the organization. That is the reason why we can easily understand from this meaning ethics as a rational reflection of what is right. That only we have to follow. If we are following the unethical aspects, that means which are wrong, it is called unethical aspects. That means which we have to avoid in the organization for smooth running of a organization. That is the reason why ethics is a reflection of what is good, bad, just or unjust, along with that what is good and what is bad in terms of human behavior. And there are various principles of ethics are there. Those are, we should have a proper trustworthiness in the organization, along with that honesty we have to follow. That means whatever we are saying in the organization, we should be very loyal towards the organization, along with giving due respect with the higher authorities in the company and the fairness in doing the things. Nothing should be hide, everything should be a crystal clear in the organization, and it should be a integrity, following a good relation, maintaining with one another in the organization. This is all about meaning of ethics. Next we will see ethics definition. Ethics are a moral principle. Ethics are a moral principles that govern by a person's behavior conducting of an activity. Any activity that individuals who are doing in the organization, they have to do in a proper manner. That means moral values. They have to follow a moral values. Again, moral values means which is good to the organization, at the same time it is good for the employee also. And it is about being loyal towards your duty. That means whatever the work we are doing in the organization, we should be very loyal to the organization and very loyal towards society, and it should be in terms of a psychological contract. That means functional aspects. Whatever the functions or whatever the duties that we are doing in the organization, all three things should be properly managed. That means we are very loyal towards our duty, loyal towards the organization, at the same time we are loyal towards the society. This is what a meaning of ethics. Next, we will see the types of ethics. Ethics are categorized into three different types. First one is descriptive, second one is normative, and third one is interpersonal. First we will see what is a descriptive. Descriptive means which is concerned with justice and fairness of the process. That means whatever the work we are doing in the organization, it should be having proper justice and it should be a fairness. Fairness in the sense we are doing the work very effectively in the organization, not involving any other unethical aspects. That is what descriptive type of ethics. Second one is normative ethics, a fairness of the end result of any decision making process. Fairness of the end results of any decision. Suppose if you are making any decisions in the organization, that decision should be followed as per the norms of the organization. Whenever we are working in the organization, we are abide by the rules and regulations of the organization. That is a second type of ethics, normative ethics. And the third one is interpersonal ethics. Interpersonal ethics means being employee in the organization, we should maintain good relation with employer. That means we have to maintain good relation with our boss along with our peers. That is what the meaning of interpersonal ethics. Fairness of interpersonal relationship between superior and subordinate. Both the supervisor and subordinate, we are maintaining a good relations. These are the three types of ethics: descriptive, normative and interpersonal. Next we will see what are various factors which influencing ethical behavior at work. These factors are categorized into 5 different ways. Those are individual factors related to the person, organizational factors, the boss, the supervisor in the company, along with that the code of ethics and the culture. That means the way we are doing in the organization. Work in the organization, whatever we are doing in the work in the organization, that organization culture also influences our work. First we will see how individual factors are influencing on ethics. Those are, as a person, we know the do's and don'ts. What we should do in the organization, what we are not to do in the organization. That is the reason why as an individual, if we are knowingly doing something which is not acceptable, that is not at all good and which is going to influence the performance of the organization. Along with that, the individuals are going to possess good education, experience, and at the same time they should having proper awareness how to do the things in the organization. That is what individual factors. Coming to organizational factors, in the organization, window dressing of financial results are going to be avoided. What is meant by window dressing? Window dressing means manipulation. Manipulation of financial results. How this manipulation of financial results is going to affect on organization? For this, the live example which was happened in the year 2008, that is what Satyam scandal. And a Satyam software solution, Ramalinga Raju Garu has manipulated the financial statements so that it will affect near about 7,000 employees jobs. That is the reason why once we are doing business in the organization, we should not manipulate any financial results. That is what organization has to keep in mind. Next thing is the boss influence. Ultimately, the boss is always right. If we follows this kind of principle, sometimes if boss is not giving anything in a proper ways to do the things in the company, definitely it will affect on the work of the organization. That is the reason why that also should be avoided. Next thing is ethical policies and codes. And every organization has to return whatever the things that they are going to follow in the organization in the form of written statement. That written statement, whatever they have mentioned, that list of elements we should follow in the organization. This is the fourth factor. And finally, the organizational culture. Culture means the set of values, beliefs, norms that followed in the organization. If organization is following good values and ethics, definitely the employees also follow the same thing. If not, anything they are going to be changes in the right manner, definitely it will affect on the performance of the work of employees in the company. That is the reason why these are the 5 different sort of factors which influence ethical behavior of work. Next we will see what are the various ethical issues in HR. The various ethical issues in HR are categorized into 8 different aspects, and in that the first one is employee responsibility. How employee responsible for ethical issues in HR. As we discussed, the various factors which influence in that individual. Individual means an employee is a individual in the organization. It is the responsibility of the employee to work as per the norms of the organization. That is what employee is having a core responsibility to do work in the company. Second thing is cash and compensation plans. It is due response of HR manager whether they are giving right salaries to the employees or not. Some employees who are working on the basis of daily wages and all, they have to give the minimum wages according to the laws. That means the Minimum Wages Act 1948, whatever the wages they are fixed, according to that wage system they used to give the salary, and even the incentives as well as bonus also given employees time to time as per the norms of the organization. Next thing is performance appraisal. While appraising the individual and organization, we should not have any kind of bias like halo effect, evaluating the employee based on single trait or single characteristics, and considering the recency effect. That means whatever the recent performance that he is performed in the company, that we should avoid, and even the likes and dislikes also should be avoided. If the employee is having good relations with the supervisor, if they are giving good salary increments, that is not at all good, because those employees who are performing well, for them only we are going to give good performance appraisal. That means good salary increments as well as the promotions. Next thing is privacy issues. Privacy means as an employee who is working in the company, we should give some kind of privacy to his personal as well as a professional life. In this privacy issues, some of the organizations, what they are doing in the sense, even they are making this CC closed circuit cameras to watch the employees how they are doing work in the organization. If that is the case, automatically it is going to affect on the performance of the employees. That is why some privacy will be given to the employees in the organization to have a proper running of the business. Next thing is race and disability. We should not have any kind of discrimination in the organization based on the race, caste as well as disability of the employee, because each and every employee ultimately joining in the organization to satisfy their needs and wants. So that is the reason why we should have a proper indiscrimination in the organization. That is a good practice of a organization. Next, safety and health. It is the responsibility of the organization to give a proper safety to the employee as well as take care of health of the employee. Today, the scenario which was happened in Vizag, LG Polymers, which reflects they are not following proper safety measures to the employees. That is the reason why they are violated the safety measure. At the same time, the people who are residing nearby the factory, they are also impacted a lot. That is the reason why if we are running an organization, we have to take care of safety and health of the employee. And when you are going for any industrial visits and all, you can observe where in the front gate of security gate itself, they are giving some or the other helmets or wearing some sort of gloves and all, and mandatory that we have to wear shoes and all. These are the some of the security and safety measures which the organizations are following, because all of a sudden anything is going to happen, we have to protect ourselves. That is the reason why helmets they used to wear, and even we will observe that ear plugs, because in some production units the machines are keep on running 24/7 and the employees are coming from one shift to the other shift, they are listening the voice continuously, definitely they will be getting some ear problem. That is the reason why some safety measures also the company has to follow. Next thing is employment issues. At the time of recruitment of the employee, we should do the recruitment process very fairly, and even the training also we should do in a fair way, because if the employee is, if you want to recruit new employees, he belongs to your family or relatives or any pressure from the trade unions, we should not recruit those kind of employees. We should see whether he is possessing all the qualities and qualifications required for the job or not. At that sort of regulations only we have to follow. And last one is restructuring and layoff. Whenever the companies can restructure the organizations once again, at that time whenever we are restructuring, there may be a chances of layoff of employees. These layoffs are sometimes it may be temporary and sometimes it may be a permanent. At the time of a permanent layoffs, we have to give proper notice to the employees in advance, so that they are get ready for the particular period of layoff time. That is the reason why they have to communicate whatever the company is taking the decision towards the employees, that should be communicated in advance. That is why these are the various sort of ethical issues which we are going to come across in HR. Apart from these, even when we discuss, yes, performance appraisal is there, a compensation, even some grievance redressal time, all in that aspects which is related to the functional aspects of HR, that we have to have proper fairness and transparency. These are the various ethical issues which we are going to follow, and now we will see what are the various approaches to the issues of this organization. Approaches to ethical issues in organization. There are three approaches for there. Those are utilitarian approach, approach based on rights, and approach based on justice. Utilitarian approach. HR policy is based on the philosophy of utmost good for the greatest number. That means utilitarian approach means whatever we are taking the decision, a maximum number of people are going to get a benefit out of that. That is what this approach. Now here see example, layoff in difficult situation. Whenever any difficult situations are there in the company, definitely we have to take this kind of layoff, and while we are taking this layoffs, maximum number of people are going to get the benefit. That means they won't have any kind of a disturbance. That we have to take care, and it should be a very fair. And for these we explain with an example which was happened during the Russian period in a foreign. In a foreign, our well-known company called Tata. Tata is manufacturing automobiles in foreign countries. During the time of recession, even they are not having a proper sales of automobiles. At that time, Tata people has taken the decision of lay off the employees, and during the layoff, they have given this layoff up to 6 months. During the 6 months, the Tata people has given 80% of the salary to the employees. That means whatever the decisions we are going to take, that should be very good for the greatest number of people. That is how utilitarian approach is going to be followed in the company. Second, approach based on the rights. An organization should respect an individual's dignity and rights, because every employee, based on their position and all, is having some kind of a dignity and respect. That respect we have to give. Neither those employees who are performing in higher jobs, for them only we are going to give respect, means it is not at all a good aspect. That is the reason why whenever the employees are working in higher levels or lower levels, we have to give due respect. See, for example, whatever the position and all, we should have the safety working conditions, and at the same time equitable pay depends upon the level of employment, and relevant and unbiased performance evaluation. Whenever we are going to evaluate the performance, we are going to evaluate very fair manner. If you are not following the fair principles, definitely the employees will leave the company. That means the turnover of the employees will be more. The number of employees, if they are leaving organization, will increases automatically, which will affect on the performance of the organization. That is the reason why whatever the decisions we are going to take, that we have to keep in the employees' dignity and their rights. And third approach is based on justice. This approach is on equal treatment and adoption of due procedures and consistency in application of the policies and rules. Whatever the rules and regulations we are going to frame, that should be according to the rules and procedures in the organization. These rules and procedures, we should have a proper consistency. If consistency is not there, automatically employees won't have any kind of loyalty towards the organization. That is why these are the three approaches to ethical issues in an organization. Utilitarian approach, second approach, approach based on right, and the third one is approach based on justice. Next we will see the example of Infosys, how the code of conduct and ethics was done in Infosys. In Infosys, they are following the code called C Life. C Life means, here C stands for a customer delight. Always they are giving due importance to the customers. That means at most customer satisfaction they are taking a core value in the company. Second thing is L stands for leadership by example. Whatever they are doing, ultimately they will show some kind of differences. And integrity and transparency. They should have a due importance or relationship in the organization, and at the same time transparency is there, whatever the things they are doing in a company, and it should be very fairness. No unethical practices are following in a company. And last one is E stands for excellence. Whatever they are following the things, they are having a well trained people in the organization. With this sort of C Life code of conduct, Infosys has become number one in the particular segment of their business. And next thing we will see what are various HR policies. HR policies are the formal rules and guidelines that business put in a place to hire, train, assess and reward the members of their workforce. That means here we should have a formal rules and guidelines. Why we should require these formal rules and guidelines? These formal rules and guidelines makes how we are going to do things in the organization. If those formal rules and regulations are not there in the company, definitely every employee is going to perform as per their wish and all. That is why if you are running a big organization, definitely we should have proper rules and regulations. That is why HR policies are there in the company. And some companies, when the employees are joining in the company, at that time only they will explain all these policies and procedures to the employee. Once the employees knows the policies and procedures, definitely they will work according to the rules and regulations or policies or procedures of the organization. That is the reason why this program of training the employees in the initial or when he is joining in the early stages of organization is called induction training program. And again the definition, HR policies of company defines the process through which an employer and employee together can achieve a company's goals. That means on a fundamentals of HRM we discussed why employees are joining in a company. Employees are joining in a company to satisfy their needs and wants. And in turn, when the company is satisfying the needs and wants of the employee, automatically the employees are rendering their services to achieve the organizational goals. That is what the HR policies of a company defines the process through which employer and employee together can achieve company goals. And the HR policies for a company must be drafted in accordance with their company's objectives. Along with that, the work ethics with an assistance of employment as well as some outside labor lawyer. Why we want to have the labor lawyer in framing HR policies means there are many legal aspects which will come across in the organization, because now many of the government agencies also came into existence to protect the employee interest. That is the reason why whenever we are making a policies itself, we are going to take the assistance of a lawyer, so that in a future course of time we should not come across with any kind of a legal complaints in the organization. Now we will see what are the various important things of HR policies and practices in India. These are the various important things in HR policies and practices. First thing is work hours. Work hours in the sense, usually in Indian companies they will given normal work duration of 8 hours and 3 shifts. These 8 hours and 3 shifts they are going to be usually following in the organization, and 3 shifts are right from 8 hours gap, like that any company is following. These are called A shift, B shift and C shifts, and along with that 3 shifts one more shift is there. That shift will called as a regular shift, depends upon the company. It will is morning 5 to evening 6 and giving some kind of rest passes between those things. Likewise, working hours also very important in HR policy. Second thing is code of conduct, how the employees are behaving in the organization. And at the same time, the code of conduct includes some of the organization, the dressing policy, at the same time the timing or attendance or absenteeism, everything comes under the code of conduct. Or if you are involved in any unethical practices, what sort of actions the company is going to take, that also clearly mentioned in code of conduct. Next, leave policy. This is very important with respect of employees point of view, because once we are joining in the company, definitely we will ask how many leaves that we are going to avail in a year. That is why leave policy is also going to mention in HR policy. How many casual leaves that we are going to avail, and how many sick leaves you are going to avail in the company, and with respect of that, how many paid leaves or vacation leaves. These are all mentioned in HR policies. Next thing is interpersonal relation. What sort of relationships that you are going to maintain with your boss as well as a subordinate, along with that the peer group of people. Next, performance management and appraisal. In some companies HR policies they are mentioned that how they are conducting performance appraisal in the company, and what sort of aspects or what sort of contents they are considering for performance appraisal. If employee will know in advance what sort of criteria that company is considering for performance appraisal, definitely he is going to work according to the same regulations or the contents he will be considering in his mind. Based on that, he can perform in the organization. Next, probation period. This is for new employee. Some companies, this probation period is 6 months, and companies it will be up to 1 year. In this 6 months or 1 year period, they will observe this employee, and later on, if the employee performance is satisfied, then they will make the employee as a permanent employee in the organization. And next, grievance redressal. For example, if you are facing any kind of problem with your fellow employee, to whom we are going to approach, that the company has to clearly tells in a HR policies. Because if you doesn't know, if you come across with any problem, whom you are going to approach, again it is affecting on employee performance. That is the reason why grievance redressal also clearly mentioned in HR policy. Once you face any kind of problem, you can directly go and complain, and you can solve your problem for smooth running of the organization. And last thing is intellectual property. Intellectual property means non-disclosure of company's confidential information. Any information that relates to the company, you should not disclose outside or other people. That confidentiality you have to maintain. These are the various important things which they are going to be mentioned in HR policies and procedures for making the organization smooth running. For this, we come to the end of today's topic, and in this today's topic we have learned what is ethics, types of ethics, factors influencing work behavior and the approaches, as well as the ethical issues of HR policies, and the important things in HR policies and procedures in India. And before concluding this session, let us have a quotation given by Doug Conant. He tells that to win in the marketplace, first we have to win in the workplace. That means we have to satisfy the employees. Definitely, we can definitely win in the market also. That is why first we have to win at a workplace and satisfy the employees. Thank you.